You are listening to Arts on the Air, a bi-weekly-ish interview show dedicated to Savannah, Georgia's artists, musicians, and authors. Each episode will feature a guest in conversation about their philosophy, practice, and current projects, as well as their thoughts on the state of the arts in our community. Our theme music is a clip by Jose Ray, made specifically for our show. Hey everyone, this is Kate Stanton-Melendez. I had the pleasure of sitting down with Jose Ray this week. For years, our beloved Tamara Garvey used a theme music clip of Summer Nights by the Eric Jones Trio, graciously provided by the show's friend, Mark Chesanow, who plays with the Eric Jones Trio. Mark was the special guest on Tamara's 3-year anniversary episode and finale show. So what better way to kick off my first solo episode than with a new soundbite and a chat with its creator. Jose lives in Savannah, Georgia, where he works as a multi-faceted artist. You can find his work on gallery walls, in public murals, in the children's bookstore, and you can even find him in the DJ booth downtown. I'm going to open with David Laughlin's questions, because I'm still learning.
Sweet.
Who are you, and how did you get in here?
The door was unlocked and I walked in, and my name is Jose Ray. I'm an artist and a DJ, creative explorer in general.
If you had to pick painting or DJ, what would you pick?
Oh man, I get that all the time, and obviously I just bucked to the whole question and said I'm gonna do them both.
That's not fair.
but like to add upon that, like I often get asked like, oh, can you do them both at the same time? Which is like, yeah, it's a fun like conceptual idea, but I'm like realistically, like, do you want me to water down both things, like do a not so good painting and then a not so good DJ set? But I've been thinking, because I get that pops up every once in a while, and I'm like, yeah, haha, sure. But if it's not like, if I'm not DJing like, you know, for the Starland Yard or for the Lido Hotel or, you know, or wherever, like some spots hiring me to do this. If I'm doing my own little thing in my studio, which I just got my studio set up to start recording more sets.
Cool.
I'm really focusing on that right now. And I think I can do that. Like I have this idea, like, no, don't steal my idea before I do it, y'all. I'm gonna put just a massive piece of paper behind me and DJ a set, so like, you know, mix the track in and then do a drawing that corresponds to whatever's playing.
Cool.
And then, you know, mix the next track, do a drawing. And I've done things like, I've done a lot of live art, collaborative, you know, kind of conceptual things throughout my career as an artist. I haven't been doing as much of them, but I usually did them for someone else. It was like there was a grand opening or there was some event and I would do it for them. I'm like, I could just do that for myself to represent like me and what I do. Now I need to lean more into that.
You need like a loop pedal, so you've got like some part of the DJ set booked, and you can like run what you know that like this is the cue, run, and then like go paint, and then like.
No, I think it would be like, if it's so like, it would be, the camera would be like right in front of me, like my DJ set up here, so the camera would be like looking straight at me DJing, and the wall would be, you know, just like a few feet behind me with a giant piece of paper there, and I would just turn around, draw. So I would still be within reach of the DJ gear right here. I have just a ton of large format paper, so that I'm gonna do that soon. So that's all.
Super cool. Well, okay, wait, you're doing new music for us. You did new music for us. How did you come up with this? It was so fun. My mommy described it as going to art church.
Oh, I like that. That's good. Part with the DJ stuff too, I've been kind of like sitting on wanting to start creating some music in general. Like you can be an incredibly talented DJ, but you're not gonna really blow up or make it unless you're producing things as well. But I mean, a lot of DJ producers, you know, they start out with, or they make their name with sampling or remixing things. And I'm like, I used to play, before I moved to Savannah, I was always playing in bands like guitar, bass, or like, you know, do some kind of musical thing. And then I put that aside when I came to SCAD, because I was like, okay, again, at that time I was juggling the things always. You know, you're gonna have to pick one, and I would go back and forth between lanes and deciding which one, and I always miss the other and go back to it. So when I came to SCAD, I was like, I'm focusing on visual art. I'm not gonna try to start a band or anything. And towards the end of my time at SCAD, you know, maybe late junior, senior year, I've always collected records, and I got involved with the vinyl appreciation group here in town.
What is that? That's so fun.
Yeah, it's basically like open mic night for the turntables.
Cool.
There's a full DJ setup, and you just come through, bring like a little stack of records, like 20 minutes worth or so, and we show you how to DJ. We have a full DJ set with 2 turntables and a mixer, and of course we just start with the basics. Like here's the crossfader from turntable A to turntable B. Put your record on, put the needle on, and then back to A. And so I went to. It's been in different locations. And currently, it's at Colleagues and Lovers on the second Monday of every month.
Okay.
But it used to happen at Muse Arts Warehouse. Rest in peace, Muse Arts Warehouse. It was just a beautiful spot with a little hub for creativity. And then we were at Foxy Loxy for a while, and we jumped around to little spots. But got involved with them. Loved it, just loved geeking out about music. It's just such a part of me. Like I couldn't totally put it aside. And it became apparent that it would help to have some other admin in the group, other people with a full turntable setup to come out. Like if someone was like busy with work or whatever, like just to share the responsibility. It's a lot of work to bring all that gear out and set it up all the time. So that was my like gateway. I'm like, oh. Well, I'm helping out the group that I love, so I guess I need to buy a DJ turntable setup. So I have to. I've got to jump in, and there's a call for action. I'm going to be that person.
I need all the equipment right now.
Yes. So yeah, I did that, and everything just took off organically. We started doing little pop-ups at bars around town. A previous version of Savoy Society was called Spare Time, over on MLK and Congress, and we started doing little Monday night sessions there. Like it's nice to have some little activity on a Monday or Tuesday, something like that. And we would all just go in there and do the same thing that we did at Vinyl Appreciation Night, but they started like tapping some of us on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, do you want to come in and do it like a Saturday night?" And of course, I was like, "Yeah." So yeah, just started playing records there, and everything from there just kind of grew organically. Just word of mouth, I'm pretty geeky about it. I take it very seriously, and in the beginning, I took it way too seriously. But now I'm like, yeah, I've got enough mastery of it that I'm not like freaking out about all the technical aspects all the time. And now I'm like, sometimes if I quote unquote mess up, I'll look around and I'm like, oh, still don't even notice. It's like
nobody knew.
But it was the same when I do an amazing transition and I look up and no one, I'm like, oh come on, that was amazing. But every once in a while there's that one dude who looks up and is like,
yeah.
bro. And so that's what really does it for me.
It makes it worth it when that.
It makes it worth it. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, another music nerd. Thank you.
Somebody gets super excited. All right, so where are you playing next? This episode comes out, I think, on the 13th, Wednesday the 13th. You constantly have DJ sets going up. You can find them on your Instagram, I'm sure. You're great about posting stories and like full calendars of events. Do you have anything off the top of your head showing up right after them?
Right now, I just have my regular, summertime, it's a little slower in town, so not a lot of like big events going on, but I have my regular events Friday nights at Hotel Bardo or Club Bardo upstairs from 8 to 11, and that is a private club, but if you have dinner downstairs, you're always welcome up at the bar after for a little pre-aperitif or a post-digestive.
I thought you had to be a part of their club to go up there.
Yeah, so it's for club members, but if you're eating at the restaurant, you've got VIP access for the night.
Well, that's a hot tip.
Yeah,
I guess I'll come catch you on a Friday.
Yeah, come see me, y'all.
All right, you've been doing murals too, because you're everywhere. I mean, what are the last murals? You had a animal rescue, an animal sanctuary.
Yeah,
that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, this was primarily a dog rescue shelter.
Shelter.
It's a rescue shelter. Yeah, they're taking dogs in need and find homes for them. But the funny thing is, I did that one in Savannah. Like, was that May? I think it was May. I did that, and then my next mural was a cat mural for a cat rescue program back in my hometown of Hutchinson, Kansas.
Cool.
And that one was a giant wall, and I did it in like less than 2 weeks. Like,
whoa.
We had like a little community pop up where like they came out and like helped. I I painted a bunch of flowers down low where they could access them, and then they would come fill them in. And I had a few people helping me, but I mean, it was a really giant wall with like regular assistance throughout the project. So it definitely put my rear end to the flame on that one, because I was like, I have to leave. Like I had a wedding to DJ.
Oh no!
And I was like, there's no way I can be late for that. So I pulled off a small miracle on that one. It was fun. Just to be back in the hometown in the summer. I'm usually only there holiday time in the winter.
How do people find you? You did Spoke in the apartment complex here in town, and you've done a house. You've done somebody's like personal house. They let that stay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's Mark and Margot, and they through that I feel like that moment was like a catalyst for them. They've always been, they're super, what's the word, bibliophile, like
okay.
Book nerds. Like they collect books. They're so steeped in books, so book smart, and they actually go around town and they keep the free little libraries all around town. They keep them fresh, so they just collect books. People bring them books because they know they do this, and then they switch out stuff. So if something sits in a book library for a long time, they'll take it and put it in another spot.
Cute.
They're just like these little like Good Samaritan little bookmobile folks. They're amazing. So they had me do their house, and during that process, we were talking a lot about how Mark had written a lot of poetry. He just had like reams and reams of poetry that he had, like for like decades he'd been writing and never really put out there. And so shortly after the mural, we had a reception, and there was some coverage of it and everything, and from that, like Mark just he put out his first book. I feel like it was some of that creative energy, and I'm definitely not trying to take credit for it, but it was just nice to be there when it was all kind of like happening and brewing. And now Mark's on his fifth book?
Whoa!
I think. Yeah, that was just a little over a couple of years ago. He's just like turning them out. And the most recent one, a book of haikus, I did the illustrations for it, so that was very exciting. We just had the release at the Davenport Museum just last weekend.
For painting, what do you have going on? What's you got any projects?
Yeah, for painting right now, I'm so like I said, I just did those two bigger murals with the animals. And now I've had a bunch of smaller murals, like little backyard kind of patio murals I've been putting out for a while. Sorry, y'all. I'm getting, this is the summer, I'm getting to them. So I just finished one, a little poolside, like covered little deck thing. Just really fun to get in there. And there, because there's windows, there's some like electrical boxes and stuff. So part of the idea is to like get in there and camouflage that a little bit, like some of those utilitarian parts that don't look so pretty in that spot. So just going in there and putting a bunch of leaves and floral elements and sprigs and filigree and tied it all in. So that was fun. And I've actually been exploring more in my doodling, my sketchbooks, just kind of filigree and embellishment in general. And I think these smaller murals like this that are fitting into a space that is filled with other windows and boxes and stuff like that is a good way for me to explore that and kind of experiment with it. So I'm happy with the first one. I'm looking forward to kind of exploring that a little more now. Hopefully by the end of summer I can knock the rest of these little patio murals out.
These are all private spaces.
Yeah, these are like residences, yeah.
Do we get to see the progress shots and the final product on your Instagram?
Yeah, so I posted the last one. It's up there already, and I mean, as long as the owners of the establishments are cool with it, which I think if anyone's getting a patio mural, they would be like, yeah, check out my backyard. So you'll probably be seeing them.
Love that.
Yeah.
So we're hearing that we can book you to make our houses prettier.
Absolutely, yes.
You seem to be doing so much more commercial stuff versus gallery stuff these days. I love that path for you. What made you do that?
Yeah, it's hard to I'm trying to figure out now how to balance that, how to stay in the studio and keep working and then go out and be doing murals as well. I mean, overall, I'm like during the week working on visual art, and then come weekend, nonstop DJ gigs. most of the time. But I've gotten used to that. Vans full of DJ gear, boom, 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 do that. Most of the time, don't focus on art during the weekend just because I'm like, it's just too, I gotta let myself a little bit of downtime. And then come Monday, back into the studio. But I've been thinking about this. It's been a little over a year since my last solo show, and that was up in Asheville, just maybe 6 months before the storm.
Yeah, It was probably closer than that.
Yeah. So it's been enough time. It's been enough time since I had something in Savannah too, and plus, I don't know. I think I'm in a bit of a reset right now. I'm kind of I was throwing everything into my paintings for a while, and I kind of got lost in the weeds a little bit. There's so much in there, and I feel like I need to refine it now. Really find, now that I put it all in the pot, okay, what parts do I really like? What parts can I take out? So
it must be such a different challenge for your brain. I mean, you've definitely conquered, not small scale, but paintings are smaller than buildings, right?
Yes.
There's got to be such a massive difference in the way you approach painting, just a normal painting for sale in an art gallery versus somebody's backyard versus the wall of an apartment complex.
Yes.
That's got to be so much fun to tackle. I'm glad you're getting these fun projects. What's the weirdest change you've come across? Is there anything that's just a glaring difference in how you set it up that just exploded your brain or?
Between murals and studio work?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still like to approach it similar, similarly in the way that I'm actually I'm still sketching when I'm on the wall. If you've seen some of the time lapse of the murals, if I do a grid, it's a very light grid because I still like the act of drawing. I don't want to be a computer print, doing that. I need to feel like I'm creating in the moment, even though we've talked about a sketch and we've agreed on this and that's what I want to do. I still need to feel like I'm actively in the creative process in that. And I guess that's just my personal thing, but it probably shoots me in the foot. It probably takes a lot longer and is a lot more headache, but I love I'll have a 20-foot pole with a roller on the end and just swooping around and drawing
fun.
Yeah, just the same way that you would start a sketch on paper. I'm starting with a really basic loose shapes, kind of plotting the composition out, and I just go in and start chiseling into it, with paintbrushes on poles or rollers on poles.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Are there any weird problems? I guess, how are you up there? You're renting scaffolding or just the biggest ladders we've ever seen?
Yeah, a lot of times it's ladders and then lifts every once in a while. That Kansas mural, the last one, I had a lift, had to get up there, but was still using a pole off of the lift on part of it. But so you said that the difficulty from walls to studio is that the surface of the walls, you never if we're talking about siding or rough concrete or brick or cinder block. Yes, it's just each one of those, and sometimes I'll bid something out, then I'll get to the wall and realize this is going much slower than I expected because of the tactile quality of this wall.
You don't prep anything? Well, do you prep it? Do you prep it? Because when you're painting, your stuff is typically on the massive wood boards. Mm-hmm. Super heavy. Love that about you. Difficult to hang. Destroyed so many walls. Putting your paintings on walls. The biggest holes you've ever seen.
Nice.
Sorry.
I should say sorry.
It's not my wall. I don't care. What's the difference? Is there a difference in prepping the way you work on a wooden surface versus, or is it just house paint? Like primer when you're doing these murals? There's nothing special to keep it from getting sun damaged? There's no tricks?
Yeah, I have depending on the wall and the status of the wall, in general you want to prime most of the time. Sometimes you sand down, pressure wash is usually a kind of a standard thing. But then I do put a clear coat UV protection on there just to give it a little more longevity especially in Savannah. The sun is just beating on everything, and the sun's eventually going to conquer everything, but we're going to try to give it a little more life. Yeah.
Love that. Well, and you work with resin typically there's like a resin coat on your fine art paintings.
Yeah.
Is there anything that goes on top of that to give it longevity, or is it just inside the resin itself?
The resin that I use has a UV protection in it, so it's locked in there. And I'm thinking about doing some works on paper just right now. I did for Mark, actually, with the release of his new book. I did a portrait of him, and it was all graphite on a large piece of paper. And I don't know, it just kind of like, I was like, yeah, I want to mess around with this a little more. Because originally all those paintings started with me doing watercolor on paper, and then I started doing other mediums on top, and the resin was a way to lock everything in. Because when I'm using, some of those mediums don't always play well together for the longevity of them, or even just like displaying them, they can be easily damaged, pastels and graphite, things like that. So the resin was an answer to that, but I'm gonna, I don't know. And again, like I said, a bit of a reset. Like I want to go in and just kind of go back to the drawing board and challenge myself to start over and like start piling stuff in again. But just, kind of like do some different prompts. I've been reading this really great book by Rick Rubin. It's called The Creative Act, and it just really connecting creativity to spirituality a lot in a way that is, I think is just, it's so powerful, and the stuff he's saying is really resonating with me right now. I've been more into some like breath work, yoga, meditation lately, and it's just helped me to keep my sanity a little bit.
Yoga's good for everybody.
Yeah, and having some realizations through those practices about myself and the way I am in the world, and it was nice to hear him in this book. I mean, Rick Rubin is, just a creative genius. He's like produced for like Jay-Z and Beastie Boys to, the list goes on and on. It's crazy. And he's gotten really into Buddhism. I think he's been into it for a long time, but now like at his age, he's set with who he is as a creative, and he's really tying those two in and seeing the link to that, like about how when we tap into ourselves more, then the creativity flows more naturally.
Cool.
Because I found myself a lot in that. Like once I started making a living as an artist, there's always this like, what if the paycheck stopped coming? And it's like, you're chasing that all the time. And I feel so bad for young people right now with trying to make it as a creative and the landscape, and you're trying to compete with robots and I can imagine being that age and be like, oh, there in a split second, this is a beautiful painting it did, and they can make 1,000 of those. Like, why should I even start? I think it's gonna shut a lot of people down before they even start. And so something he's touching on that I've been kind of experiencing is that it's a very inherent thing about being a human being to create. And just because our picture may not be as pretty as the AI one that can make a zillion in 2 seconds, we still need to do the act of creating. We still need to play with things. We still need to interact and correspond with each other in real space. And we need to talk to each other, and we need to share ideas, and we need to put our hands in the mud, and we need to turn that mud into a pot, and then we need to fill that pot with blue paint, and we need to throw that blue paint on the wall, and then we need to smear that blue paint around. Like, we need to have our hands in the things. And yeah,
just good for your brain.
That was my soapbox moment.
Read this book, touch stuff, don't use AI.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I know it's an unpopular opinion right now.
Well, and the worst part is like when this goes up, it's gonna do that AI like auto summary that's gonna be like, hey, it's great.
Oh, right.
You're such a Renaissance guy. You've got like all of these pockets. I'm so jealous. Is there something you're bad at?
Clerical work, accounting. Yeah, I'm just awful at it.
Yeah, that's nobody's favorite part. All right. Have you had any super recent memorable experiences of your work that just you thought were super fun as people are interacting with your stuff?
Yeah, that's what I love about murals is it can be scary to be out there and be seen the whole time in the creative process, because there's still that like 5th grade boy inside of me that's like, don't look at the drawing yet, it's not done. You're gonna be mean. I know, exactly. Like, what's that? I'm not done. Give me a second.
They're like gonna chase you away like it's graffiti. Get the heck out of
here.
here.
Yeah, right. So when it's a mural, like you're in that mode, you could be in that mode for a week, you know. So luckily, I'm for the most part, at least I can pretend to be until I get there. Fake it till you make it. Okay with that. But as it starts to come together, like, yeah, I mean, people just go like, oh, you know, like you're just getting praise and people want to come in. You know, if it's a little kid, I'll often like let them take a paintbrush and put little marks so they can always be like, hey, I painted that part there.
Aww.
But yeah, I mean, I often, all through my life, and even now, like as, you know, working creative, I find the question pop up like, what am I doing this for? You know, the world's on fire 24/7.
Oh my God.
Mass genocide everywhere. You know, we're like, yeah, we're
We're
being manipulated in every single way.
We're
like,
so exhausted all the time. They're doing it
Right.
on purpose. They're like trying to break us.
That's
and
absolutely
it's
it.
working. Yeah.
And they're very effective at it. They've mastered it. So I'm like, I should be doing something else. You know, I should be doing something more powerful. I should be engaging head on with it. But I'm like, if I do, like, I don't think I'm as effective that way. And I know now that vitriol against vitriol just creates this pus-filled, nasty, oozing mess of garbage that I'm not happy with, and I've tried that before, and it's just like, and it's not fulfilling to me. It makes, you know.
You're just poisoning yourself
Yeah,
from the inside
exactly.
out.
Yeah,
too.
you're poisoning the well by doing that. So I'm like,
Let's paint some cats.
yeah, let's paint some
kids
cats.
happy.
And then when people come by, they're like, oh my gosh, this just brightens my day. I'm like, you know, when we're just being attacked constantly, you know, as we flick our finger across this little screen all day long, people are after us, they're making you feel bad about yourself, so you'll buy crap, and it's just, I'm like, okay, if I can do that, and then even that creates a small conversation, an actual interaction with another human being, and that, I mean, that's in today's society, I feel like that's like hitting the jackpot.
We're also like separate and staring at little boxes.
Right,
Just in our
yeah.
little heads, and it's awful. This
Yeah.
is terrible for us. We should not be doing this. What's your favorite color? Also
Purple.
not on the list. Purple?
Purple, yeah.
Like your favorite color in general, or like to use? Just purple.
I mean, there's like this kind of electric teal I always use, and this violet, and then there's like this really bright kind of chartreuse green. I feel like that's like my trifecta that you'll see in all my murals.
There is a lot of purple in your work,
Yeah.
especially for a man.
Right? Yeah, it's more that like violet purple, like, you know, it's like something that goes to pink, purple.
I mean, I carried your work in galleries for years. So when Carmen and I were at the mansion, like very early on, especially because it's super floral,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of purples and pinks, and like they're bright, like neon colors
Yeah.
oftentimes, but like the prevalence of like pink and purple. I don't know how many times we had to explain to people that you were a man, and they looked at us very confused.
Oh yeah.
Yep, they really want you to be a girl for some reason.
I like challenging expectations.
Yeah, everybody should. Yeah. Floral paintings. They're
Yeah.
just so happy. But you did a portrait recently. Are you going to move into doing portraits as part of the fine art, or is that just for your friend Mark?
Yeah, I mean, that was something. So there were 4 artists that did portraits of Mark for the exhibition, the opening reception, which was nice. So just to show different takes on the artist was fun. But yeah, I'm thinking about playing with. I still want, ultimately, Mother Nature, is my muse, and like she's always gonna be there. Like more than ever now. I'm like, I want that, and without some of the soapbox moments I was just having, like I think more than ever now, I want to be like put a light on this. You know, just step away from it. Like go out into the woods, and don't worry about who, you know, whatever pings you might be getting. Turn your phone off. Leave the phone in the car. Take your shoes off. Go walk around in the woods.
Grounding is good for everybody. Grounding is great. You gotta touch some mud. You
gotta
gotta
get out there.
walk
You
in
gotta
some
play.
grass.
Yeah, it's
Lose
so
your mind.
important. So that's what, like, I definitely want the focus on her, but I am thinking about bringing other elements in just to play with the mix. You know, that's been the muse for a while now, and I'm like, okay, how can I play with it a little bit? And the funny thing is that the floral stuff just kind of happened out of coincidence. It was started, as a gift for a family member, and then it was like, got some traction and response. I was like, okay, let me do a few more of these and see what's up. And then then it was about medium. I was kind of exploring the medium through the content that I happened to be handed, because before that, if it's not apparent yet, I'm just a little manic and crazy.
We all are.
Yeah, so it was hard for me to like land on a subject matter. I always like wanted to do and try everything, and then it would be crippling to be like, well, what do I paint? What do I draw? Because I could draw anything. So to have a subject I could focus on was really grounding for me, and it actually allowed me to like really start a solid studio practice. I feel like that was the thing that I hadn't had before. But through doing that and starting to make a living as a creative through that, it allowed me a little bit of time not to be like always running off to work or always running to punch in here and do this. And I had time at the studio to myself, and I had time to start doing some of these practices I've talked about, like the breath work and yoga. And it allowed me time to like stop and think and go take a walk outside.
And you had an excuse. You were supposed to be looking at flowers.
Exactly, right, yes.
You had to build an excuse to yourself to like take a break.
Yeah, and it's funny how it worked, but I feel like it was all meant to play out that way, because now it's like the most important thing to me that I had disconnected from, because I always loved being out in the woods and riding my bike on the dirt trails and stuff when I was younger. And then you grow up and you're supposed to go live in a cubicle and not do that anymore. Or at least that was my perception, unfortunately. But luckily this, leaning into my creativity and the things that I think I'm here to do, allowed me to get back to that and inspire me even more. So now it's like it's starting to swirl and it's starting to grow, and it's feeding in, like one's feeding into the other and vice versa. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, like going back in now, like reevaluating, like, okay, like what do I do with it now? Like I still love that content. I love playing with all the mediums, but like, yeah, shake it up. So there may be some new elements. And plus the animal murals, doing the cat and the dog mural, it's nice like playing with other things, and part of being out in nature is, like seeing the birds, hearing the birds, and watching little critters run by. And so yeah, there's some stuff I want to play with that I'm not quite sure what it is yet.
That's so good. All right. This is again courtesy of David. This is awful. Describe color.
I'm like, do I want to be scientific or do I want to be artistic?
I think this is made by David Laughlin just to mess with
people. It is. What a jerk.
You don't have to answer it.
For someone who, I think, one of the first things people say about my work is the color usually, so I should have an answer. I will work on that for next time.
I didn't have an answer either.
Yeah,
that's impossible. So I will probably continue asking it until somebody gives me a really good answer.
Well, I don't know if I can say what color is, but I can say that color is almost like emotion.
Sure.
In our optical understanding of the world out there, they really do have a powerful effect, and they set the mood and the tone, and I think there's so many things that are having an effect on us all the time, and if we can start to understand those things, we can empower ourselves in certain ways. And yeah, color is just such an incredible thing. Like all the porches here, how they have that light sky blue, and on the ceilings.
Paint blue.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, yeah.
It's paint blue to keep out the demons.
Yeah.
Restaurants are painted red because they studied it and it makes you eat more. Babies, no yellow nurseries for babies. The color yellow makes babies cry more. So
I didn't know that one.
They're like, I'm not going to find out the gender. I'm just going to paint it yellow. Don't do that. Paint it green.
Yeah, green's good.
Yeah. Do you look into color theory at all and how it plays on the emotions while you're putting your pieces together?
I of course studied it, for years and years and years in school, and then I always geek about it, and I'm not actively thinking about it most of the time, but when I see, I like to let it lead a little bit. This is one of the things that Rick Rubin talks about in there, like following signs or cues. Like, you don't want to just go in and be like, I'm going to do this. You want to be open to be like, okay, this is coming together now. I should follow that. I'm feeling excited about this. I'm feeling inspired by this, so I should follow it. So if something I start to see some color play interaction, I'm like, okay, let's lean into that. And like maybe push that a little bit. And the funny thing is, like, I know on an intellectual level how color theory works, but every time I see it in the wild, like when I'm painting a mural, I'm in the studio, I'm just painting, I'm like, look how this color looks over here and over there, like that, and I just freak out about it every time. It's so incredible how one color can look so different just depending on where you place it. Like if I put this green next to that purple, but then I put it over here next to this blue, it'll look gray, next to the blue, and it'll just shine over here on the other one.
You're just impressing yourself. You're like, man,
I know my stuff.
I nailed that color.
But the funny part is it's usually random, and then when I see it, I'm like, okay, lean into that. But I'm just making color marks all the time.
Give yourself more credit.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you
There's some
knew
subconscious at play there.
Yeah.
Right.
You've studied it for so long. You've been a professional artist for so long. You knew it.
All right. She has the right answer.
Are there any particular jobs you've had which may have contributed to your approach or the execution of your work recently? Like non-art jobs?
Non-art jobs. Not recently necessarily, but I will say that I was doing high-rise window cleaning before, or the whole time I was going to SCAD, that was my job because it allowed me some flexibility. It was contract work, but it got me a lot of experience with ladders and poles and lifts.
All super useful
yes,
later.
so much so. I feel very confident, using a pole all the way up to 20 feet with a roller on it and drawing with it. And I sometimes I worked with people and I'll try to have them, they're like, what? How do you do that? And or just window cleaning. You have to fine tune, flex, up along the window, pull down and over, and yeah. And that's
what a weird side gig that super helped the rest of your life. I love that.
Right. Yeah.
What a wonderful payoff skill.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Snoop Dogg. They said that he's a master sushi roller.
Oh, for real? Oh. I get where you're going with this.
Transferable skills.
Yes,
friends.
nice. That's great.
By being a window cleaner, you have transferable skills.
And in addition to that, so this window cleaning the whole time I was at SCAD, and then it was after I got out of SCAD, I was still window cleaning, but then I started working at a children's art studio, a scribble art studio, and then eventually phased out. The window cleaning was just doing the children's book, or the children's art studio, and eventually then, of course, transferred into being a full-time artist. But the skills I learned at the children's art studio helped me in so many ways, because when you're teaching art to kids, they're they can drift out, you can lose them very quickly. So there's all these little tricks you can do, like when you draw a circle, you're making sound effects, or you can make your voice go up, you're always doing these little things and little boops, and you're like, okay, you try to engage with them on different levels to keep them engaged. And all those things helped me immensely with the children's book stuff. Being able to be up there in front of them, you're putting on a performance is what you're doing when I'm reading these books and teaching them art lessons. And it's all the stuff I learned at the children's art studio. If I had just gone into that cold call, I would have been mortified. It would probably have been terrible too. But also it allowed me to play with materials, because I was like, oh, I don't use colored pencils anymore. I was like ink and spray paint stuff. But when you have to teach a young person how to do it, and you're like, okay, you can do this. I'm like, oh, I kind of like that quality. I can see me doing that, and then doing that with some watercolor, and oil pastels. I never used oil pastels. They're too messy. But then I was like, oh, I kind of like this aspect of it. So yeah, and whenever sometimes I find myself in front of young aspiring artists, and just talking about what I do, and hearing their stories, and I always try to tell them, no matter what you have to do, to make ends meet, or do as a job, or deal with that person, there's some nugget of wisdom in all those things. Even if you're just bagging groceries at the grocery store, you're gonna have a lot of people coming through and talk. You may meet the next client that wants to buy your art. Talk to people. There's something, or even like building displays. When I used to work at a grocery store back in Lawrence, Kansas, and some of my first mural experience was they're like, oh, you're an artist. Do you want to go paint our windows for the holidays? I'm like,
cool.
Had never done it before, but I was like, I will figure this out. So there's just like there's always something in there, something to be taken away. But if you just go like, ugh, I hate to have to be here, you're gonna miss that opportunity to propel you to the thing that you really want to be doing. If you're just sitting there going, I wish I were doing that thing.
It's true. Yeah. Buildable moments.
Yes.
Everything is compound. I have an art history degree and a museum studies certificate, not a degree, not a minor, right in the sweet spot in between.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know.
Sweet spot.
But so I came out of school in the recession and no arts jobs. Just like now, we're not paying for art. The world is on fire. So then there's nothing. So I ended up with Siemens Energy, and I worked from like a secretary gig to like a buyer, like an emergency warranty buyer when like power plant parts exploded.
Oh yeah.
Weird, right?
Yeah, it's a refinable spot.
Yeah, like very strange thing to be doing with my college degree, but because now I've mastered like Excel spreadsheets and like budgets and like all these weird business things, I never thought it would be useful for running an art gallery. But like,
yeah, you gotta have that.
If I wouldn't have had to have learned, I would never have learned. And then I would be less good at the day job I've had for the last several years.
Right, yeah.
Who would have thought being a secretary would have been one of the smartest things I could have ever done for myself?
Yeah.
I spent years doing it and thought, oh no, this sucks. No, it does not. I get the best travel deals.
Right.
I'm so good at booking myself flights.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, the weird skills.
I'm gonna hit you up next time I'm thinking about a travel plan.
What's your earliest memory of creating art?
Earliest memory of creating art was with my grandmother. She, I think I was still drawing like, a potato with sticks coming out of it.
Sure.
And she was like, is that what it looks like? Like go ahead, like describe, she showed me it, but it was also like look, there's like, here's like the t-shirt, there's the upper part of the body, here's the legs, they have volume and then but when I went into kindergarten, I was drawing people like that and my teacher was like, what's up with this? And I mean, yeah, it was, I think that was my earliest memory of creating art.
Love that. Somebody cared and you took it seriously.
Right, yeah. It was a long way.
How does living in Savannah influence your work? Your work's not like overtly Savannah. There's some people that like only do.
Right.
But
I mean, the fact that I'm like so in love with Mother Nature and letting her be my muse. I mean, I always just like walking around Savannah. Like I just always have my sketchbook on me, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here right now and draw these trees or watch this squirrel or watch these birds interact. And yeah, it's just very inspiring having that much nature embedded in our cityscape because of the squares. And
can you walk us through your creative process, like from idea to finished piece? You just like wander around squares and paint trees, and then they just keep going?
Yeah, I'm actually. This is gonna probably sound crazy, but I don't often take things from my sketchbook, or I haven't been taking things from my sketchbook and translating them into paintings.
Okay.
But I think I've been spending a lot of time on my sketchbook over the last couple of years, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, like starting fresh and coming back with something kind of new. I think I want to start taking more of the weird stuff that's in my sketchbook and combining it with what I've been doing thus far, and see what happens.
Do you have anything to pitch? Like, how do we give you money? Do you have any pieces that had been in galleries for sale on your website? Not that I saw. Do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything up in galleries around here right now.
Or like nothing viable from your website?
Yeah, I actually just took the prints off of my website. They've been on there the same prints have been there for a while. And again, like the office side of it, like I would get a print order and it'd be like 2 weeks. I'm like, oh crap, I didn't realize I had like that order. So I was like, I need to like restructure this whole thing. So again, it's just part of that, like I need to clear the table, figure out what works for me. I want to get some prints back out there, but I think I want to start making these new works on paper and then start pushing those. So no, right now there's not.
No way to pay you.
No way to pay me.
Lame.
I know, right? You come sing at a DJ gig and Venmo tip me if you want, but yeah.
There you go.
Oh, so earlier I said Bardo on Fridays from 8 to 11, but also Starland Yard on Saturdays from 7 to 10.
There you go.
The Yard's a fun gig. It's, it's just such a wide spectrum of audience, just open food truck courts. So I just really flow all around. In fact, sometimes lately what I'm doing is I'm working towards these sets that I want to start getting more sets online. I'm like, I'm just gonna try this set today. So I'll just start from the beginning, start weird and moody, and then we go up, we get in the energetic spot. And, yeah.
Test audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything you wish I'd have asked?
No, I think you nailed it.
Do you have something you want to teach me?
Yes, I would say play. Start with find that thing that you do when you're bored. For me, that's what when you doodle, if you're doodling on the page, if you are a doodler, take that, why do you doodle like that? Start to break that down and play with it. What if I do that bigger? What if I do that with an oil pastel or a spray paint can? You just start to play around and see how things interact. And then when I was teaching art lessons back in the day, I'd always preface the start of a new medium saying, this is a common way or a traditional way that we use this medium. I'm going to teach you that, and once you have that, you can do whatever you want with it. You can do something wild with this stuff. I'm just going to teach you the traditional way that it is used and how to make this medium interact with itself in a way that is pleasing technically most of the time. But what after this, you can take this and light it on fire and smear it on the wall and then scrape into it with a spoon, or you can do whatever you want. And honestly, that sounds pretty exciting. I may go home and try that.
All right. Teach me something about DJing.
DJing, yes.
Even if it's just a word I should know.
Just a word you should know.
Is there a technical term in DJing that everybody should know?
Well, beat matching is a very standard thing among DJs you would know, but I don't know if it's something that someone who doesn't DJ would know. And that's just where this is the trick I'm always doing. So you're finding a song that's at the same beat, so it's got same rhythm, same spacing of notes basically. And what you do when you have that is there's no gap in between the songs because you mix them over the top of each other. So what you're doing often, what I'm trying to do often, is I'm giving them something they know already. Because in an ideal world, people would just come dance if you're playing good music. But we're not in London or the New York club scene here in Savannah. So I've got to give them something they know. They're dancing to that. And if I can take this other song that has a really good beat and is a danceable song, and I start to, maybe I'll start to take the bass out of the song that they know. So I always use Beyonce because everyone loves Beyonce. So I'm playing a Beyonce song, I start to take the bass out of that, and I start to feed in the bass of the other song. So I start to replace a little bit of Beyonce bass with this other track over here. And then then I'll fade out a little more, and I'll probably leave Beyonce's vocals at the end, so it's just Beyonce's vocals over the top of this other track. So maybe this is some indie French electro track now, with a Beyonce vocal on top of it. And by the time Beyonce is done doing her woo woo woo, I phase it out, and Beyonce's out, but everyone's still dancing because technically it's still that same Beyonce, it was that Beyonce song. And then they go, oh, I don't know what this song is, but I like it. Let's keep dancing.
You tricked them.
Exactly. It's very much a lot of psychology back there, and there's so many different things you can do with transitioning from song to song. But that's one of the core things. And I think it's one of the best ways to keep the audience engaged on the dance floor. You're tricking them, but the trick is you got to keep doing it.
Does it only work if it's a beat match? It doesn't make it if it's like double time or like half time? Because you're still
you can do that too.
Yeah.
There are other little things you can do, like maybe you can like you have a pad like with a cue on it, so you can like tap in one hit, like that. You can even make your own like drum pattern out of it over the song, and then by the time that song ends, you let the other one drop, and it's a different BPM. But you know, it's that the beat match thing where they never stop moving and they don't have time to think about it. If you give them time to think about it, they're gonna go, oh, I don't know this song, let's go get a drink. But if they're still dancing, like, oh, cool, let's just keep going.
I love that.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. Absolutely. There's so much psychology to it. You know, it's emotion and psychology and, you know, societal trends, which I'm so out of touch now. Like I don't have TikToks or watch reels or anything. I know so much of the music is that now. So thank you all for letting me still DJ, even though I have no idea what's going on out there.
We're too old for TikTok. I say that, but like my mom definitely has a TikTok. I do not have a TikTok. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, so I just trust my friends, or that's the great thing about being out DJing every weekend. People come up and tell me, they're like, "Hey, will you play this song?" So I find out what songs are popular. I'm like, "Okay, I need to play this one." What's cool though is like because of these TikTok trends and things like that, is that a lot of music from yesteryear is coming back in popularity. And when it happens, I'm like, it'll be some like teenager, 20-something, like requesting some song from the 70s or 80s, and I'm like, why are you? How'd you hear about this song? And they're like, oh, I just like it. I'm like, I know you like it. It's a great song, but where did you hear it? Like, was it in a movie or was it a TikTok? Like, I'm just curious about like how these things are coming back into popularity.
What's the answer? Do they just not know?
Yeah, they don't. For the most part, they don't seem to know. But then I'll find out. I'm like, oh, it was in this movie. But like, it's funny because I remember that happened like for me, like Wayne's World, like with Bohemian Rhapsody and Queen, But now Queen just keeps coming. Like Queen's like every like 5 years has another explosion. It's just, they're just one of those bands. And hopefully till the end of the time,
every time somebody hits puberty, they're like Queen.
Right, right. And on Queen, what a way to go out.
I have no other words.
Word.
Do you have anything else for me?
No, this is fun.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, and I wish you the best in the new position here.
Yeah.
On the Art on the Air.
So far, less scary. I'm still stress sweating, but again, they can't see me.
Right, yes, yes.
Hopefully we'll get this going.
Bye. All
right, pitch your Instagram, pitch your website.
My Instagram is Jose Raysay, so that's JoseRaysay, and my website is joseray.com.
When he has stuff to buy all of his stuff.
Yeah. Until then, just go show me love.
Come dance.
Do little hearts. Yeah, come dance.
Make everybody else dance, because if one person starts dancing, then everybody else
someone has to be the catalyst. Yeah.
Come be the catalyst, since you can't pay him. All right, this first solo episode is a wrap. Thanks again to Jose Ray for coming to chat, for creating our theme music, and for all the visual and audio arts he graces Savannah with. Earlier, we referenced his friend Mark, the owner of one of Jose's murals and a super talented poet. We've realized we didn't give him appropriate credit. His full name is Mark Thomas. His most recent book is Wetlands, Low Country Haiku, which was illustrated by Jose Ray. This latest book was released just last month and is available at The Book Lady and Locally Made Savannah. We'll be back in 2 weeks, Wednesday, August 27th, speaking with Lisa Watson. Lisa D. Watson is a Georgia-based artist and gardener whose environmental concerns are expressed in each project. Her assemblage pieces contain 90% reclaimed materials such as paper products, metals, industrial wood, produce netting, and more. She's used recycled objects as her medium for over 25 years and continually works towards a sustainable practice. Recent projects include Hosts and Heroes, a collaboration between Lisa and Dana Richardson. Now, through April 2026, you can see the joint effort of sculpture, painting, and text as a theatrical wildlife narrative spread across the windows of the Jepson Center at the Telfair Museums. I suspect we'll discuss her company, Planet Green LLC, her work with the Georgia Plant Conservation Alliance, and the Longleaf Alliance as well. Do you have a pitch for an upcoming project? Reach out to Arts on the Air via Instagram, Facebook, or email artontheair1075@gmail.com. I'm Kate Stanton Melendez. Thanks for having me, Savannah. Final note. This is being released on Wednesday, August 13th. If you're a local teacher, or know a local teacher in Bryan, Bullock, Chatham, Effingham, and Liberty counties in Georgia, as well as Beaufort or Jasper counties in South Carolina, you are down to the final few days. The Junior League of Savannah will be celebrating Find the Good Day by fulfilling up to $150 from 10 teachers' back-to-school wish lists. You can apply through August 18th. Winning teachers will be contacted by August 27th and be able to pick up their wish list items on September 8th at our monthly general meeting. Full transparency, I am part of the Savannah Junior League and on this year's Community Projects Committee overseeing this jam. Likewise, this Sunday, August 17th at 9:30 a.m., please join me at Odium Yoga in Eastern Wharf for their Yoga Flow for Good donation class. Donations start at $5, and this day supports Planned Parenthood Young Leaders and Planned Parenthood. You can register on the Odium website. There are links available in their Instagram or on the PPYLSAV, standing for Planned Parenthood Young Leaders Savannah, Instagram site. How much do you really know about reproductive health? And how tired are you of hearing my monotonous, accidentally slightly bitchy, yet oddly still cartoonish voice? This Sunday, August 17th at 10:30 a.m., directly following the Odium Yoga course, we'll be holding a Planned Parenthood Young Leaders seminar. We'll be walking from the park to a secure location for a 90-ish to 120-minute-ish workshop on either pregnancy prevention or abortion access, decided by vote. My friend Abby and I will be the speakers. In our post-Roe landscape, misinformation campaigns and access restrictions create barriers to essential health care. These workshops, constructed by Planned Parenthood, are designed to empower participants with knowledge about reproductive health, rights, and advocacy strategies. Space is limited, so DM or email me at the Arts on the Air to RSVP and vote on a session topic. All right, see you soon, Savannah.